Once upon a time, they said Lumia is about light. Lumiastream has grown steadily over the past years and is now more than just a lights app. Nevertheless, lights and colors belong to Lumiastream like air belongs to breathing. But since Lumiastream now has so many features that don't require lights, we thought it would be cool if users could use colors without having a smart light at all. That's why we have invented the virtual light. Virtual lights behave like smart lights and can be used via the Lumiastream overlay system. You can add your virtual lights just like real lights to your scenes, reactions and animations and make your overlay react to commands or alerts, for example. So long story short, let's install some virtual lights. First of all, we need to know where we can apply virtual lights. You can apply them in 11 different layer types: in text, image, video, shape, goal, labels, timer, gradient lights, event list, chat box, and in the credits layer. If you have never used virtual lights before, we need to create them first. This is relatively easy because you can create them on the go while editing a layer. So we go to the overlays in the left side panel and create a new overlay. Of course, you can also edit an existing one. We click Add New Overlay, name it, and click Add Overlay again. The editor opens and we select the text layer. In this example, we want to show our last follower. Therefore, we go to the right side panel and change the content to Twitch Last Follower. As you can see, the text content changes directly to the name of the last follower. If you want, you can now customize your style by adjusting the font. We don't need any colors because we determined them with our lights. Now we go to the Virtual Lights tab and click Add Virtual Light. If you have never created a virtual light before, you won't see much in the drop-down. However, if you have already worked with it, you can select here which one you want to use. We assume we are new to the topic and therefore click Create New Virtual Light. Give your light a name, such as Only for Text. You will then be taken back to the previous window and can now select your light. In the drop-down below, you can choose whether you want the text to react or the text background. For our example, we choose text. Now click on Add Virtual Light. Here you now have a toggle as the last setting. With this, you can set whether the text should be transparent or always visible. If you now trigger a command that receives a color, reaction or animation, the text changes accordingly to match the color. But afterwards it becomes invisible or black. This depends on your default state. Like real lights, the virtual lights are also reset to default. So we need to add this virtual light to our scene, for example. To do this in Lumia, go to Studio in the left sidebar, Scene, and simply drag the virtual light into a slot on the right. You can also do this for different virtual lights and create a colorful overlay layout. The cool thing about virtual light is that you can also use it in a video. Create a video layer in your overlay and insert a video from your assets or upload a new video. This is very interesting, for example, for camera frames or other overlay layouts. In our example, we take a camera frame and set it to loop, so that it always stays in motion. Now go to Virtual Lights in the right sidebar and repeat the steps we have already explained for the text. In the upper dropdown, you can select the light, and in the lower dropdown, you have the choice of foreground or background. We take the foreground again. Now we click on the color selector again and choose the white color. I do this even if white is already selected because videos and pictures often have the small differences in the colors. Now you got a toggle and one slider. The toggle is used to set transparency or the lights are always on, as was the case with the text. The first slider is for adjusting the color tolerance if you are not satisfied with the result of the color exchange. Now we trigger our command and prove our frame reacts to our stream. Before we continue with the last example, This procedure is always the same for all other virtual lights enabled layers, so I won't go into each layer. However, the gradient layer is an exception. The gradient layer, as the name suggests, lets you create a color gradient. Create a gradient layer in your overlay and select it. Click on Add Virtual Light. Select the virtual light you have already created or create a new one. You cannot change anything in the drop-down below. However, in order to create a color gradient, we need different colors. Therefore, we add 2 more virtual lights to this layer. The studio scene is particularly suitable for this. So we take an already created scene or create a new one and create 3 slots. We select the color for the slots and then drag our 3 virtual lights into the slots. Click on Done and refresh and trigger the scene, either by creating a command with it or even using it as a default state. And you have a beautiful color gradient that you can use as a frame, for example. Do you already know how you will use the virtual lights? Tell us in the comments. If you found this helpful, please leave us a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date. And have a luminous day.